Good evening on TV47 News Tonight. COVID-19 deaths. The country records the highest COVID-19 deaths in a single day. 18 patients succumbed to the virus in the last 24 hours, among them a 1-month-old infant. Sada news tonight as COVID-19 home-based care program also records the first death. Also tonight is now SONKO'S BADI. Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko makes an about turn and promises to work in close collaboration with the NMS Director General Mohamed BADI. The truce between the duo comes moments after a meeting with President Uhuru Kenyatta. Plus, county workers pay row. Tonight we tell you the plight of county government workers who have been without pay for months. Some have not received a penny since April. The County Government Workers Union is now threatening to down tools if workers' dues are not paid pronto. And counties' revenue woes. Counties will now have to wait longer to know if the revenue share installment will come to pass or not. The Senate will sit on Tuesday next week, contrary to the Speaker's communication that the House will sit on Thursday. The impasse lingers. The details here tonight. From the country's capital, tonight of all nights, good evening. I'm Abu Bakr Abdullahi and Wairimu is our sign language interpreter. TV47 News Tonight begins right now. Kenya has today recorded the highest number of deaths resulting from COVID-19 in a single day. This inclusive of one patient who was placed under the home-based care program and a Kemri official. Meanwhile, 679 new COVID-19 cases were recorded today as Immaculate Oma begins our broadcast tonight.
As COVID-19 infection numbers continue to surge, the country has recorded the highest number of deaths in a single day after 18 people succumbed to the virus. The 18 include a researcher from Kemri Institute and one who was under home-based care. Kemri's Corporate Affairs Director Kamau Mugenda succumbed to COVID-19 and was buried on Wednesday.
We did have a home fatality, a death reported from home. This was in Meru, a 55-year-old female who was hypertensive, died at home.
This comes as the country records 679 new cases, making the total number of COVID-19 cases to 28,104. Nairobi led with 349 cases, Kiambu recorded 69 cases, Kajiado recorded 35 cases, Machakos recorded 25 cases, while Nyeri recorded 23 cases, and Garissa has 18. Meanwhile, Kenya has been assured of getting vaccines in case the trials for the vaccines work out.
Moved on to the phase 3 trials, which make them part of a large number of testing so that we can determine the efficacy and safety of the vaccines. In all these conversations, there have been collaborations established with the countries, and there have been discussions with Kenya and other African countries to become part of that collaboration.
The Ministry of Health has said this while receiving equipment donated by the World Health Organization. The ministry assured the World Health Organization of the country's commitment in combating the virus in the country. Immaculate Oma, TV47, Nairobi.
Elsewhere, Mount Kenya University is the latest institution to meet the required regulations for the resumption of learning in universities, technical institutes and vocational training institutes. This happens as the Teacher Service Commission develops new guidelines on community-based learning set to be observed in the implementation of the program. Our reporter Eli Logova has the details.
As the COVID-19 pandemic continues to put the fate of more than 10 million learners in limbo, many universities and other institutions of higher learning are yet to meet the minimum threshold for the resumption of learning activities. Mount Kenya University has, however, joined the list of universities that have ensured safety of students as the phased opening is set for January 2021. Mount Kenya joins Strathmore University that had earlier complied with the regulations. Mount Kenya University received the Clean Bill of Health after CS Magoha paid a visit to the institution's main campus in Thika on Wednesday.
The universities have to find a way of ensuring that they can navigate that area. Many of the universities also have not done anything towards doing what you have seen here. Today I have seen automatic dispensers in Thika, both at the institute and here. And I'm very impressed that they are there.
The government has further urged universities to opt for online learning and graduation ceremonies since the current situation cannot allow for such events. Education CS Magoha has further reiterated the need for public universities to upscale their preparations and ensure they comply with the set regulations.
I think the universities should carry on with their normal business, and I would want to encourage those universities that can have online admission and orientation to do so. For those universities that do not have online resources, especially the public ones, and that there are about maybe 20% of them, I think government is going to look into a situation where perhaps a line of support can be given to them.
Meanwhile, the Teacher Service Commission has issued new guidelines geared towards implementing the community-based learning program. Under the new guidelines developed by the TSC, teachers and heads of schools will be required to identify suitable places for learning, sensitize and educate learners on COVID-19 prevention measures, organize learners according to their classes, set up face-to-face learning program of not more than 15 learners, utilize Nyumba Kumi program to ensure all learners participate, and develop daily activity-based program for engaging learners on life skills and values. The program will be coordinated by the Ministries of Education, Health and Interior. Eli Logova, TV47.
Thank you, Eli Logova, for that report. Elsewhere, President Uhuru Kenyatta has waded into the Nairobi County power wrangles by calling out Governor Mike Sonko, who has been opposed to the Nairobi Metropolitan Services Office. At the same time, Governor Sonko and BADI have resolved their differences and agreed to work together. Mwangi Maina has the details.
For the first time since the power wrangles between NMS Director Mohamed BADI and Governor Sonko took the center stage, the two men controlling the city met for the first time in the presence of President Uhuru Kenyatta. Sonko and Major General Mohamed BADI barring the hatchet and agreed to work together.
Mambo yote mabaya nimeongea kwa ndugu yangu BADI, nimeongea pole. Sasa kwa mbele tunafanya kazi. Hii mambo yetu wanasiasa walikuwa wanaingilia katikati ya sambaya, watu wakaenda kwa BADI kumwambia mimi ni mbaya, kuja kwangu kutembea BADI ni mbaya, lakini haja yetu hizi ni maendeleo. Kwa hivyo Nairobi waendelee kupata maendeleo.
Kwa sana ile tofauti yetu baina yetu imeisha hivi leo, na hivi gavana tutafanya kazi pamoja. Hakuna chuki kati yetu sisi.
Sonko has been complaining of being sidelined in running the city, as well as the militarization of Nairobi and his office lacking recognition. Sonko has been in court seeking to cancel the deed of transfer that saw some of his functions transferred to NMS under General BADI. President Uhuru Kenyatta calling out Sonko for playing politics and making BADI's work difficult. The president asking the embattled city governor to desist from playing politics.
Jameni, mutafanya kazi pamoja. Sonko, wacha siasa. Jemedari hana haja na kiti ya governor, hana haja na kiti ya MCA, hana haja na kiti ya speaker. Yeye ni mfanyikazi wangu, ni jemedari wangu. Akimaliza kazi ya Nairobi, atarudi jeshi kulinda wananchi wa taifa la Kenya. Kwa hivyo mimi sitaki kusikia hiyo masiasa mingi. Au ni namna gani wenzangu? Si ni hivyo jemedari?
At the same time, Devolution CS Eugene Wamalwa, appearing before the Senate Standing Committee on Devolution, said service delivery in Nairobi has improved since NMS took over and revenue collected by KRA has increased.
But can you imagine, in spite of the crisis we are in, the KRA is actually able to collect more than the county was collecting in 2019 when we had no crisis. And if you compare the month of June 2020, when Nairobi is the hardest hit county by COVID-19, to June 2019, you'll be surprised that there's a marked 33% growth in revenue collection in spite of the crisis.
Senators were seeking answers on the legal framework of NMS as well as the progress of solving the impasse between NMS and the county government as ordered by the court. Senators insisting that Sonko is still the governor of Nairobi and that he should be accorded the full respect.
Governor Sonko still remains the governor of Nairobi, and I think he should be treated as such.
Yes.
And he should be accorded the favors and the respect and the dignity that comes with that office.
Sonko has been on record saying he wasn't aware of what he signed. Mwangi Maina, TV47, Nairobi.
Still on Nairobi matters, Nairobi County workers have threatened to down their tools, claiming that they have not been paid their salaries since June. The workers have also alleged to have been denied entry into City Hall since Tuesday. David Muloka has the details.
Thumbs up when we are ready. Services at City Hall could grind to a halt after Nairobi County workers threatened to strike over unpaid dues since June. While addressing the press at the National County Government Workers Union headquarters, the workers have claimed that they are now even being denied entry into City Hall since Tuesday.
Salaries have not been paid for June. In some counties even worse. Since May.
Wafanyakazi wamekatazwa wasiingie katika makazi ambayo waliajiriwa kufanya.
Even those who want to work emergency services are not being allowed in. Has the county stopped to function? We need to know.
They are blaming the Nairobi County government and the Nairobi Metropolitan Services for turning a deaf ear to their plight.
So whoever claims to be responsible for this county, we keep on hearing everybody telling tales. MCAs, on the other hand, we are in charge. Governor Sonko, I am the one who is in charge. General BADI says I'm a general, I'm the one in charge.
We need to be told whether the county government is there or it has been disbanded. Let the president come out very clearly. It has been said that he is the one who has forced the speaker to resign. So can we be told whether he has also decided that workers should no longer work at City Hall?
The workers have also criticized the ongoing City Hall supremacy battles pitting Nairobi Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko and NMS Director General Mohamed BADI, saying they are derailing operations at City Hall.
We are moving in to protest, to demonstrate, to picket, and to strike in force in demand of the right of our employment life.
This comes hours after President Uhuru Kenyatta urged Sonko and BADI to bury the hatchet in a bid to end the stalemate at City Hall. The City Hall crisis has since seen former Nairobi County Assembly Speaker Beatrice Elachi resign on Tuesday. David Muthoka, TV47, Nairobi.
Moving on, Senate will not hold a sit-in tomorrow as anticipated since the House is on recess. House Speaker Ken Lusaka yesterday adjourned the sit-in after senators failed to reach a consensus. Josh Onsare reports.
The county revenue allocation debate in the Senate has derailed counties in the disbursement of funds to the counties.
Social distancing, please.
And after Senate adjourned the Tuesday sitting, the House will not hold the planned Thursday sitting as anticipated since the House has proceeded on a one-month recess. The Speaker has no powers under the standing orders to call for a special sitting unless the majority or minority leader asks for a sitting with the requisite number of senators supporting such a move. Senate Speaker Ken Lusaka, speaking in a burial ceremony in Nangwe village in Bungoma County, defended his move to adjourn the Senate sitting, saying the House will conduct a special sitting this week to find a lasting solution on the stalemate.
Najua iko shida ya mambo ya formula. Hiyo ndio kazi ya speaker kama referee. Kwa hivyo siwezi kuchukua sides at the end hivi, lakini niko na hakika tutakuwa na kikao maalum kabla wiki hii haijaisha ili tuweze kutatua hiyo maneno, kwa sababu imechukua muda mrefu, pesa ziweze kuja kwa counties zetu.
The House is expected to debate various amendments before the House. Among the amendments is one by nominated Senator Petronila Were, Siaya Senator James Orengo, Kiambu's Kimani Wamatangi, and Johnson Sakaja of Nairobi.
Murang'a County, they want to make Murang'a County to lose 15 million today. Not tomorrow. If more money have to go to Elgeyo Marakwet County, it should not be at the expense of our sister counties that are missing development. Mr. Speaker, this being the 10th formula, I want to assure you that if you continue this way, I will also come up with a formula.
Kikuyu legislator Kimani Ichung'wa has accused the House leadership for failing to give the members a solution to the stalemate.
We need to ask the other House, and I think there is a serious leadership crisis in that House. But they need to get serious, at least in being able to interpret statutes. If they cannot be able to interpret their own standing orders, at least the Constitution and the law as it is, they should be able to read, understand, and be able to interpret and know.
Joash Onsare, TV47, Nairobi.
9:15 p.m. You're watching TV47 News Tonight with me, Abubakar Abdullahi. Time for us to take a short break. We still have a lot lined up for you. We'll be back with much news after this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back to TV47 News Tonight with me, Abubakar Abdullahi. Thank you for choosing to stay with us. Let's get to more news. And Garissa Township MP Eden Duale has called for speedy action by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in assisting a Kenyan journalist detained in Ethiopia. Yasin Juma was arrested in July.
The arrest and detention of Kenyan journalist Yasin Juma in Ethiopia has finally landed on the floor of the National Assembly. Garissa Township MP Aden Duale brought the matter in the House seeking a statement from the Departmental Committee on Defense and Foreign Relations over what he termed as illegal detention of the journalist.
Pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44.2c, I wish to request a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Defense and Foreign Relations regarding illegal detention of Mr. Yasin Juma, a Kenyan freelance journalist, by the Ethiopian authorities. Honorable Speaker, one of the country's most committed and dedicated journalists, Mr. Yasin Juma, was arrested in a clear and controversial circumstance by the Ethiopian authorities in the Oromo region of Ethiopia on the 3rd of July 2020 while pursuing journalism employment invitation.
Juma is still being held in an Ethiopian jail even after the court ordered for his release on bail on August 5th. Yasin Juma was arrested in July alongside 2 other Ethiopian journalists. The 3 were accused of inciting ethnic violence and plotting to kill senior Ethiopian officials, which they strongly denied. According to Duale, the Ethiopian police failed to provide evidence against Yasin.
On the account of the failure by the Ethiopian police to provide evidence linking Mr. Juma to any wrongdoing, the court at Araba Sub-City freed him on bail on the 5th of August 2020, and the higher court upheld the bail conditions on the 7th of August 2020. However, Mr. Speaker, to date, Ethiopian police are still holding Mr. Yasin Juma in illegal detention, contrary to court orders and in complete discretion from the international accords on judicial process.
Duale is demanding to know what measures are being made by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to secure Juma's release, assistance, and facilitation of the journalist, and measures in place to safeguard other Kenyans detained in similar cases abroad.
Honorable Speaker, it's again this background that I seek for a statement from the chairperson on the following. What specific measures are being pursued by the government of Kenya through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to secure the release of Mr. Yasin Juma, as well to guarantee his absolute freedom? What measures does the government have in place to safeguard other Kenyans who are arrested in other countries with similar treatment abroad?
Elsewhere, at least 6 accidents have been witnessed in a stretch of about 10 kilometers between Kinungi and Naivasha in the last 24 hours. 1 person has died this evening in the recent accidents. The accidents have been blamed on the rubbles that have been erected along the stretch. Willie Dennis Njiru reports from Nakuru.
Sadly, this is the latest incident that happened this evening along the same road at Kayole Estate after this truck developed a mechanical problem hitting 3 other vehicles.
Gari ya blue ilipotezea breki huko juu line, ikakuja driver yake baadaye aitupe kando, ule ametelemuka hivi akakuja akapiga lori ile nyeupe, akapiga magari 2, akakuja akaanguka hapa kando.
Mwenye amefariki ni mmoja na mmoja ndo ameumia vibaya, hali yake kwa mahututi. Sasa tunamuombea Mungu aweze kupata nafuu.
The driver of the ill-fated truck died on the spot, while another was critically injured. 3 escaped with minor injuries. Reporting for TV47 from Naivasha in Nakuru County, I'm Willie Dennis Njiru.
Moving on, the government has blamed arsonists for the fires that have razed down 657 square kilometers of SAVO National Park. As we continue, the fires that have razed the SAVO National Park in the past 3 months, the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife suspects that local herders, honey gatherers and local farmers are to blame for the fires that have destroyed parts of the SAVO ecosystem.
The Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Wildlife and Tourism, Fred Sigor, addressed wildlife conservation stakeholders in Taita Taveta County, saying the fire incidents could escalate to the persistent human-wildlife conflict as animals have migrated from their habitats to human settlements. The PS assured the government's commitment in preventing the disaster in future and also equipping the KWS with firefighting equipment.
On the side of government, we will be able to improve our equipment in terms of ensuring that we have fire breaks in several areas. We will also increase our fire towers so that we are able to monitor closely what is happening.
Coastal Regional Coordinator John Elungata promised engagements with detectives from the DCI to investigate the fire outbreaks in the region, warning that anyone found to have caused the fires will face the full force of the law.
Kuna moto ulianza katika store ya hay katika ranch moja, na hiyo moto ikaruka ikaingia katika mbuga, na huyo mtu wakati uliuliza ranch management wakasema huyo mtu alitoroka, huyo mtu apatikane ashtakiwe.
The administrators say the fire will result in human-wildlife conflict where the affected animals will be forced to look for food and shelter in the neighboring farmlands. Nanok Lauren, TV47.
Elsewhere, police officers in Uasin Gishu County have appealed to the Ministry of Interior to establish counseling centers and departments. Calvin Chitwa has more.
Mental health is crucial for police officers to perform optimally in their law enforcement mandate. Appreciating this reality, Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital, MTRH, has started a mental health awareness program for police officers in Uasin Gishu County.
First of all, we can start with the ones who are near us and educate them about the mental wellness of themselves. And when they understand their own mental wellness, they're also able to understand the mental wellness of other people that they interact with.
All police officers in the county have been meeting at the police headquarters in Eldoret town to participate in the program. Dr. Edith Kuoba is the head mental health department at MTRH. She says many police officers with mental health problems have not been helped.
Some of these people who you hear have shot carelessly or have hit people could actually be suffering mentally. And unfortunately, because they are even by the time they go for that assignment, they are angry. Then at that point, they become irritable. They are provoked by the small things that they think are wrong. Yeah? So, and that's why we say it's very important that even for the force to have their own way of ensuring mental wellness for their own officers, because some of these officers could be depressed.
Dr. Edith adds that many police officers work for long hours and in distressing circumstances without rest. Uasin Gishu Police Commander Johnston Ipara says the program targets all police officers in the county.
We are targeting 1,500 officers attached to Uasin Gishu County. We want to make sure every one of them is taken through by professionals. If we do that, we shall also have addressed the issues that in recent time you've highlighted about police officers either killing others or killing themselves.
The World Health Organization report indicates that 12% of people in the world suffer from mental illnesses. Kenya was listed among the countries with less than 500 mental health doctors. Calvin Chitwa, TV47, Uasin Gishu County.
County, let's get to Kiambu County, where youth in Embu County have made a clarion call to the public board to revise the retirement age bracket to 55. They decry that many youths are unemployed at the expense of the elderly who retire at 60. The youth spoke on the sidelines of the Youth International Week held in Embu town.
Wale watu wako na umri wa kutoka miaka 60 kupanda ndio tunasema hata wakae nyumbani kwa sababu ya janga la corona. Lakini kama kwa maofisi zetu tungekuwa tumeajiri vijana wengi, sasa hakuna kazi ya serikali ingekuwa imesimama. Tungekuwa vijana tunachapa kazi kwa sababu tunajua miili yetu iko na nguvu na inaweza fanya kazi vizuri.
Retirement age ipunguze kidogo. Juu tukisema miaka 60
miaka 60, by the time watu wenye wako 60 wanatoka, watu wenye tuko 30 bado hatujapata kazi, na wengine wanatoka wakiwa 25 shule, bado pia wao wanakuja kungoja sisi tutoke kazi.
Every year 35% then graduate, we have around 800 wenye 800,000 wenye wana youth wenye wana graduate kila mwaka. Na tunapata out of that 800,000 tuko na 35% wenye still hawapati kazi, and that the only solution tuko nayo kama serikali iwezi create job. Why don't we then review this age? Turudishe nyuma kidogo ili at least wana youth wanaweza occupy hizo spaces.
All right, 28 minutes past 9 p.m. You're watching TV47 News Tonight with me, Abubakar Abdullahi. Remember, as always, you can be part of these broadcasts. Send us a message on 22047. Text us on that number. The hashtag to use is TV47 News Tonight. Some of your feedback already is coming in. Manispa on Facebook says, watching from Ruiru. Galileo Otieno says he's watching from Manyata, Kisumu County. Simon says he's tuned. Text us as well on 22047. Someone who has not mentioned his or her name says watching from Kabutit. Talk to us. Send us a message, and of course your voice and opinion matters. We're taking a short break. We'll be back with much more after this break. Welcome back to TV47 News Tonight with me, Abubakar Abdullahi. Thank you for staying with us. Now, the Nairobi woes continue. The county government workers have now threatened to down their tools, claiming that they have not been paid their salaries since June. Tonight, we speak to Benson Oriaro, who is the Nairobi City branch Secretary General of the Kenya County Government Workers Union. Benson, good evening, and thank you for making time for us tonight on TV47.
Good evening, Bwana Abdullahi.
Just for purposes of clarity and the context of our discussion, the strike notice that was issued today, was it exclusively to Nairobi County workers or the 47 county workers?
This was exclusively to Nairobi only.
And why are Nairobi County workers threatening to down their tools tonight?
We are not only threatening, but we have downed our tools for two reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, we have not been paid our July salary, 2020. Number two, hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Number two, the city county gates are closed and are being manned by none other than Chambai boys. So we do not know. We are aware that Nairobi City County is not a military state.
Benson, Benson, when you say the city county government offices and doors are closed, you mean you can't physically access them?
Yes, is the situation currently that presents is that the employer has locked its employees out.
And the employer is the county government?
Employer is the county government. So far, that is what we know.
And why will the employer lock out the employees?
We don't know, because we have tried to source this information from the county government itself, that is from Governor Sonko, is not talking to us.
Mm-hmm.
His lieutenants, that is county secretary, is not talking to us. And we do not understand what really is going on. General BADI, who is running NMS, is also not talking to us. So we are on our own, and we don't understand what's happening at the city county.
And what was the communication like between the county government workers and the county boss? Have the workers rather written demanding an answer as to why they have not been paid? Seems like we have a glitch there. Nonetheless, we are talking to Benson Oriaro, who is the Nairobi City Branch Secretary General of the Kenya County Government Workers Union. Of course, Nairobi City County workers today issued a strike notice citing that they have not been paid their salaries since June. Now, of course, again, Benson and the city workers have also claimed that they have been barred from accessing City Hall. Of course, the hall having the significance of where they work from. Nonetheless, that is a discussion we will continue once we get back, Benson. Let's get to more news, cross borders, and get to Rwanda. Rwanda, where the Rwandan Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Vincent Biruta, has revealed that Burundi is not willing to mend ties with Rwanda. Biruta says that even after making efforts to reach out to Burundi is still not showing interest to make amend. Our correspondent Diana Iriza brings us the latest from Rwanda.
The government of Rwanda says claims peddled by the government of Burundi that Rwanda is holding Burundian refugees hostage are absurd and do not reflect the truth of the matter. Reacting to recent comments made by the Burundi's president, Major General Evariste Ndayishimiye, that Rwanda is holding Burundian refugees hostage, Rwandan Minister of Foreign Affairs Dr. Vincent Biruta dismissed the claims as false, saying Rwanda has already expressed the desire to facilitate the repatriation repatriation process of the refugees.
Kubyerekeranye n'ikibazo cy'impunzi rero muzaba zarafashwe bugwate, nagira ngo mbanze mbabwire ko mu mpunzi z'abarundi ziri hirya no hino muri bihugu byo muri aka karere.
Speaking of claims that Burundian refugees are being held hostage, I would like to address this issue by letting you all know that there are Burundian refugees within the country. Numbers show that 70,963 Burundian refugees are in Rwanda. Rwanda is the third country with the highest number of Burundian refugees. However, claims that Rwanda is holding these refugees hostage are untrue. And before the COVID-19 outbreak started and the borders got closed, at least 200 Burundian refugees were returning back to their country every month.
Abantu be kujya bambukiranya igihugu mu kindi, buri kwezi twabonaga impunzi zigeze kuri 200 zatahaga.
Dr. Biruta says that it is surprising that Burundi would accuse Rwanda of holding hostage the refugees when the Burundian government has refused to allow its own citizens who were caught in Rwanda by the COVID-19 outbreak the right to return. He also pointed out that Rwanda would not force Burundi to work on bettering relations between them. In order for relations between countries to sustain, the countries need to have the willingness to improve on their relations. According to what we have seen, Burundi does not have the will to work on its relations with Rwanda. However, Rwanda is prepared to do what it takes to have better relations with other countries, especially neighboring countries like Burundi. According to the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees figures, by the end of June 2020, there were more than 430,000 Burundian refugees spread across the East, Central and Southern Africa region. Diana Iriza, Kigali, Rwanda.
Thank you, Diana Iriza, our reporter from Rwanda, for that report. It seems as though we'll not be able to connect back to Benson Oriaro. Nonetheless, we'll be seeking a clarification and an understanding of the pending strike, the county workers' strike, in our subsequent bulletins. We'll give you an explanation in as far as that is concerned. You're watching TV47 News Tonight with me, Abubakar Abdullahi. Let me go through some of your feedback now. Jonah Mwei on Facebook says, Mwalimu Mwei, on the issue of retirement, he says, I concur even further to 50 years. Senior citizens have a lower production. Let's invest on our youth. I will retire now for a young man or woman to be hired. That is Johan Mwei. Mbugwef Mbatia also on Facebook says, counties ikona very old workers, some should retire. That's your opinion as well. Of course, that is among the feedback that we have in as far as a story that ran earlier on retirement is concerned. That brings us to the end of tonight's edition of TV47 News Tonight with me, Abubakar Abdullahi, on behalf of the entire team that made this production possible. Bye for now. Enjoy the rest of our programs, but I leave you with the weather updates.